Boy, oh boy, the sad state of affairs in Venezuela. I just keep thinking, you know how a single silver ounce, coin would buy you quite a lot of groceries in Venezuela, like now and last year even too. 1 ounce of silver. Well, imagine having one Bitcoin, a single Bitcoin in your possession in Venezuela, when in 2009, 10, etc., it was going for a couple bucks, sometimes less, sometimes a little more. And you saved up, okay, back in those days, 2009, 10, Venezuela was okay, right? There was no big economic apocalypse happening like it is now. People could have afforded some, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda is what we always say, unfortunately. Myself included. Boy, I wish I had some of those at $2. Ooh, man, right? But Zero Hedge has a great article. Illinois is Venezuela, and the solution is cryptocurrency. Authored by op-ed by Ken Curson via The Observer, which is observer.com. The reason I'm so much fun at parties is that my idea of a good time is to lecture everyone on cryptocurrency. I can pretty much talk Bitcoin and blockchain with Hamiltonian fervor all night. All night long, all night. I feel the same way. And I'm pulling a couple people, one or two at a time at my job that I know, not just anybody. Dude, I'm going to tell you this because I love you. I don't want you to miss out. I feel like I know something, and I feel like it's a crime if I don't say anything to you. Go to Gemini.com, create an account, upload your documents, attach your bank account, buy as much as you feel comfortable spending, 50-50, Bitcoin and Ethereum, right on that thing. You've heard of Bitcoin and stuff? Yeah, I've heard of Bitcoin. And then I got to give them a little bit of a spiel, So this guy, I feel like I'd be there right next to you chatting all night long on cryptos. Ever since I began writing about cryptocurrency in general in 2013, which, funny enough, that's when I poo-pooed Bitcoin early 2013, realized, Snip, bad call, dude. Bad call. Later in 2013, ladies and gentlemen, on my YouTube channel, I got it wrong. Got it wrong. I think we need to get into Bitcoin and stuff. I said it. I did it when I was in Tennessee. I came back. So this is funny. This guy, same time frame. Same time, buddy. Love it. I believe this story I wrote for the Esquire in fall of that year was the first ever mainstream media mention of Ripple, on whose board I now sit. I have been making one point to anyone who will endure my "What is cryptocurrency" lecture. People are all wrong about the difference between cryptocurrency and real money. By real money, people invariably mean fiat currency issued by a government. To counter that argument of that, real money is somehow safer than crypto, I've pointed to Argentina's 40% inflation rate, or the Weimar Republic, and its famous wheelbarrows full of money to buy a loaf of bread, which was arguably intentional as Germany sought to repay Treaty of Versailles debt with devalued Deutschmarks. And of course, the world has watched in horror as Venezuela has devalued the bolivar, their currency, to the point of meaninglessness. These are not hypothetical examples. If you think this is all futurist theoretical BS, read up on the devastating effect hyperinflation is having as it transformed what was once South America's most promising economy into a hellish nightmare in which people are eating their pets. And he's got links here provided, and I've covered this before. You remember the prize stallion horse at the zoo? You remember me doing that video? People jumped the fence in the night, took the horse, slaughtered it, and ate it. The prize stallion. You're starving. What are you going to do? You've begged the government, please help us. They're not there. Governments constantly, reliably, invariably, and maddeningly ruin their own currencies by giving in to the temptation to overprint it. The beauty of Bitcoin is that, like gold, the entire supply of it that will ever exist on Earth is 21 million coins, is known about, finite, and will never increase. So that's it. Still, as power, and again, you can buy a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent of a Bitcoin. That's another beauty about it. You can have a full Bitcoin, you can have a half a Bitcoin, you could have, 1/100th of a Bitcoin. That's the beauty. And again, I do think as the years go by, people are going to say, I'm at least hanging on to a few Bitcoin for the future. Everything else, I'll play the game, buy, sell, flip. But I'm going to hold a few Ethereum. I'm going to hold a few Bitcoin, so that maybe when the day comes and the true value is known, since it's only 21 million printed or created, that literally you may be sitting on an absolute fortune with just a single one Bitcoin or two. Remains to be seen, but $2 Bitcoin now running near $3,000. And I think it's well on its way, right? So, still as powerful as these examples are, some from recent second world countries and others from past first world countries, they do not vividly resonate with Americans. That makes perfect sense. The US dollar, after all, has been so reliable that the very countries I am criticizing, like Argentina and Venezuela, turn to the greenback, US dollar, and use it as a shadow currency to store value as their own money fails. Even when we see American commodities change dramatically in price, like we witnessed with gasoline in 2008 when it reached $4.11 in July and then fell to $1.84 in January, people don't readily seem to connect that it's not just gasoline fluctuating, but American money fluctuating. If my $10 bought 4 gallons of gas on October 1st and 2 gallons of gas on November 1st, gas doubled in price just as the buying power of the American dollar was cut in half. It's the same thing. Not precisely the same, actually, but close enough for the point I'm trying to make. So what I've been researching or searching for, what I've been searching for in these years of evangelizing and explaining the revolutionary power of cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, this new one, BAT, Basic Attention Token, that I'm interested in, and others, to transform basically everything, are examples that will resonate without sounding like I'm talking about 1930s Germany or the struggles of the Second World. These last few weeks, I think I've got what I need, and it becomes heartbreakingly from my home state. I was just about to say, it's Illinois. Illinois faces financial distress that's unprecedented for any American state, without a budget for 2 years and sitting on top of over $15 billion in unpaid bills. The state is, to use a phrase that State Comptroller Susana Mendoza borrowed from Bonfire, hemorrhaging money as the state's spending obligations have exceeded receipts by an average of over $600 million per month over the past year. While the United States Constitution prevents a state from declaring bankruptcy the ways places like Detroit and Orange County have, the situation is so dire that the Tribune's prestige columnist, John Cass, is only partially kidding when he calls for the state to be divided up between its 5 Midwestern neighbors. Again, this is not just wonky penciling. The people of Illinois are being crushed by the burden imposed by a state that cannot pay its bills. The Chicago Public Schools, for example, must now pay 9% on its adjustable bonds because they are rated as junk. S&P warning of a negative credit spiral and threatened to lower its rating even further if the state cannot hammer out a budget literally in 1 day from now, July 1st, which is, as he wrote this, is less than a week away. No, it's a day away now. Again, this is not just wonky penciling. The people of Illinois... Oh, wait, I just read that. In other words, a bridge that used to cost $100 million to build because that's what it cost to borrow the money from bondholders now might cost $150 million. Just as we saw in the gasoline example, anytime something costs more US dollars for the exact same product, you can look at it as the cost of a bridge going up, or you can look at it as the value of a dollar falling. That's why I believe in cryptocurrency. Illinois cannot print its own money. I don't know what they're going to do to crawl out of this mess. But there is no denying that all governments, including the United States, have manipulated their money supplies for political ends. And that's why I am so bullish on the future of cryptocurrency. Illinois, well, actually, this isn't about whether Bitcoin will soar to $5,000 or sink to $500. I think either is possible and equally likely, and I'm not looking to give investment advice. All I'm saying is that I trust currencies that are cryptographically enshrined and limited by the hard realities of math, at least as much as I trust human beings who are subject to the allure of popularity and other shiny objects. The best book about cryptocurrency is called Digital Gold by Nathaniel Popper. And the parts of it that most moved me occurred when he described how this incredibly complicated and novel technology actually affected human lives. One of the early innovators of the Bitcoin ecosystem was Wences Casares, who founded Zappo and a bunch of other crypto-friendly fintech startups. When Casares was growing up in Patagonia in the early 1980s, the Argentinian government was messing with its currency to disastrous effect. First, they issued a new peso, exchangeable for 10,000 of the old pesos. When that failed, they rolled out something called the Austral, which was worth 1,000 new pesos, or 10 million of the currency that had been used just 2 years earlier. The inflation rate was more than 1,000% per year. He describes his mother carrying, and I read this a long time ago, I know this story, described his mother carrying 2 grocery bags filled with money, her wages. He and his sisters rushed with her to the store to buy what they could because the market employed people who did nothing but walk the aisles all day, constantly repricing items. These math-based monies from the future have a lot of user unfriendliness, and even getting money into and out of accounts can be a customer service hassle. But bagfuls of nearly worthless cash are not unimaginable reality for millions of people on the planet. That's the human reason I'm willing to continue to bore people with crypto evangelism. And that, my friends, is also why JSNIP4 does it. And not only that, I'm seeing how much money can be made with these things, and it gives me unimaginable pleasure and happiness to come out here and tell you about them, and tell you and even show you through some of my videos how to flip, how to transfer this over to here, how to do a sell order, how to do a buy order, how to sell Veritasium over here. And I'm getting emails. JSNIP, man, I killed it. I got that, man. Thank you. I owe you, I'm in debt to you, dude. I love it. I love it. JSNIP4, the people's people. A good soul for humanity. That's what I like to think of myself. I'm so proud I can do this. And I love the stories coming in. Love it. Like I said, practically everybody's winning. And the only people who aren't are either A, they have no money whatsoever to put into this, and they don't want to see anyone else becoming successful, so they have nothing nice to say, so they crap on everybody in the comments. Or they may have money, they didn't get in, they think it's too high to get in now, and now they're upset and sore, so they still do the same thing as the other person. I've got good news for you if you're that second person. You still have plenty time to get in the action, my friends. Stop nagging and get in and have some fun. Flip some coins, make some money, put a freaking smile on your face. Take care.